now. Right, good evening everyone, and a warm welcome to you all. Thank you very much for joining us. We've got about 40, an accelerating number of people joining us all the time now. My name is James Sanderson. It's my enormous pleasure to be your host this evening, and we have got such an amazing treat in store for us all tonight. We've got the world-famous international superstar Dave O'Brien. Dave, a very warm welcome to you. How are you?
Oh, very well, thank you, James. I'm afraid I am what would you call it? Social media skills aren't as good as my desert running, but we got here in the end. Yeah, I'm fantastic. Thank you so much.
Okay,
yeah, all good.
It's wonderful to have you. So we're going to get straight into it now, and we're going to have a little bit of time for questions at the end. But first of all, Dave, just tell us a little bit about your background. I mean, how did you actually get to this point? What have you done in your previous life to running? Because we all know you as a sort of international runner, but what have you done up to the time where you really started running?
I was in sales. I was in office equipment of all things, and for many years. And I worked my way up that business, and ended up running two companies. I was general manager for two companies, one here and one in the UK. And so yeah, I was doing that pretty much for most of my life, and absolutely loved it. I loved the thrill of it. I love working with people. I had a very successful time doing it, but busy. A lot of time for work and not so much time for a little bit more relaxation and family time and stuff. But that's what I was doing. I guess you could call me a salesman. I did a lot of acting as well. I guess, I know, wouldn't you know? People used to ask me what I did, and I said, well, I'm an actor. I'm only for the last 25 years. But I guess there's a bit of a... before I came across the franchise course and before I started to run.
Okay, fantastic. So tell us about the running. I mean, obviously there you are working, very successful running businesses, you acting, you've got the family and everything. And then suddenly, how did this running thing start with you?
I was in Dublin, James, in 1995, and it was the second running of the Dublin City Marathon, which at that time was the second largest marathon in the world, believe it or not. And a neighbour of mine was running the race, and my mum said, go out and support him. Wouldn't you like to do that? And I said, yeah, sure. I don't know what this marathon thing is, but I'll have a look. And I went out to the village, and he ran by, and everybody had banners and were, screaming support. And I just got caught up with the whole excitement. I said, oh my God, this is for me. Those instant decisions, James, in my life, which I tend to do a lot of. And I said, I'm going to do it next year. And the following year, I did indeed. I signed up. I went into the race, bought a pair of running shoes, except the only small problem was that I didn't do any training at all whatsoever. So that wasn't good.
But you managed to get through it all right, and then you decided to go a little bit more serious in terms of the training.
Well, no, what actually happened was about my knees. In fact, they were so bad that I couldn't lift either of my legs, so I had to slide for the last, I think somebody said about 4 or 5 miles, and very painful. But I did. It's not the macho thing, guys, if you're listening. It's stupidity. But anyway, look, I finished in pain, and my wife was over in the first aid tent. She'd seen me coming down the finishing straight, ran straight to the first aid, looking through the O'Briens. And when she didn't find me, she came through the park and found me with my brother, who was attempting to hold me up as I tried to get my tracksuit bottoms on. And in distress, she came over and she said, this is lunacy. I mean, what did you expect? No training, you go to run 26 miles. And as she was hugging me, she was upset. I looked over her shoulder and I winked at my brother, Barry, making another instant decision, guys, in my life. And that was that if I could repair these knees of mine, that I would train. And I would do another marathon, just one more without injury, just to prove to me, to Dave O'Brien, that I could do that. And that basically is the start of my story, because my knees took 3 months to repair. I did then start to get running again. I did train for the next Dublin Marathon the following year, 96, and I finished it and finished without injury. And so my goal was achieved. Wow. Of course, James, there was only one little problem with that. I'm a kind of very passionate person. I'm very compulsive, and if I am passionate about something, I go in hammer and tongs. So having done one, I wanted to do another, and another, and another. And so here we are in 2016, I've been running now for a long time, over 30 years, 31 years to be exact. I've run over 600 races around the world. I don't know how many marathons, I guess probably 60, 70 marathons, cross country, mountain races. I hold the record in Ireland for climbing the 7 highest peaks in Ireland in under a day. And that's a record which still holds today. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. And I'm still doing it. I'm a barefoot runner these days, and I'm still running.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing, Dave. Now, can I just ask you just to sit back a tiny bit, because we just can see your cheek. That's it. That's brilliant. Yeah. Right. That's it. Perfect.
I keep forgetting.
Well, that's the thing. We wanted to reveal you gradually, and so anyway, that's absolutely wonderful. So, running for 30 years. I mean, what an extraordinary thing, and holding all these records, and and obviously a lot of people have heard you speak. You're very, very hilarious speaker. But Dave, just tell us a little bit about Juice Plus. When did Juice Plus come on the scene for you?
It would have been 1995, James. I was at a health seminar in Dublin, and I went with a friend of mine, and there was a very interesting talk by a medical doctor and a nutritionist from our television station, and also a Michelin chef. These 3 speakers were very interesting, to be honest. They were good. But then what happened was we had the 4th speaker, and the last speaker of the day was a man called Gary O'Toole, who would have been our best Olympic swimmer. He never did win a gold medal, but a very good swimmer at that level. And he stood up on stage and he said, look, I've been training. I spend more time in the water than I do on land. I train 3 times a day in the water. And it was extraordinary. And he said, my recovery and repair, as you can imagine, is absolutely crucial. And so he said, my doctor on the Olympic team came up to me and said, Gary, I want you to take these. He said, what are they? He said, it's Juice Plus. He said, what's Juice Plus? Are they vitamins? He said, no, nothing to do with vitamins. They're food. And Gary said, food in a capsule? He said, yeah, just food, broccoli, kale, spinach. So he didn't argue. He took them. And he said to the whole audience, which I was one of, he said, I took them for a month and I found no difference. I took them for 2 months and I found no difference. I took them for 3 months and I still found no difference. And I turned to a friend of mine and I said, this Juice Plus crowd, I think they better get a different speaker. This is going a bit pear-shaped for them. But what he said next, James, you hear me talk around the world. One of the things I talk about is pivotal moments in your life. And what he said next, without doubt, without question, was a pivotal moment in my life. He said, I didn't find any difference, but my doctors did. They were taking bloods, WADA anti-doping, and they were testing him, and they found this massive increase in antioxidants running through his veins. And of course, when your antioxidant level goes up, guess what? Your free radical damage goes down. And he said, when they tested it, his free radical damage, and free radicals predisposes to, as you know, degenerative disease like heart disease, stroke, cancer, speeds up the aging process. That had gone down or been reduced by over 75%. Now, James, I don't know about you, but I'm from the Wild West in Finglas in Dublin. And we're kind of brought up the hard way. And this guy's up on stage telling this audience all this stuff. And I'm thinking maybe he's a little bit exaggerating, or maybe overexcited, God help us, or maybe misinformed, or worse again, what if he was being paid a bunch of money to give me a load of crap, that it was actually not true, that it was lies he was telling us? But what if it wasn't? I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, what if man had actually found a way to grow this most beautiful food without sprays at all? Take the water, sugar and salt out, without heat, so you don't kill it as a live food, enzyme intact, and boom, encapsulate it. Get the fiber in there as well and encapsulate it to keep it airtight. Well, what if that was true? And like Dave O'Brien was brought up by my mum. She's my hero, an incredible woman. And mum used to always say to me, Dave, don't be sheep, don't be led. You know what I mean? Make informed decisions going through your life and go out and take some chances. And if something seems right, you're good. Go with your gut. And I'm sitting there in this crowd thinking, oh my God, what if this is true? If man has actually found a way to encapsulate raw food enzyme intact and beautifully fresh and all the rest. And I thought, well, let's find out. And so I did. And I went away, and I've been taking Juice Plus now, James, for 20 years, and next month will be 6 months. So 20 and a half years I've been taking Juice Plus.
Wow.
So that's how I heard about it.
Yeah, and so obviously there you were sitting in this lecture, you were kind of a little bit skeptical, but you were just very impressed by what he said. But then you started integrating it into your own regime, your own diet. And what sort of thing did you begin to notice? What were the things that you were feeling that happened, or what was going on there?
Great question. I didn't know what to expect, James. I took, again, I grasped with both hands. I felt that this is something I should do. I ordered it, knowing very little about it. Was I skeptical? Yeah, sure, to an extent. Come on, it's quite a normal thing to be. I'm not into pills, by the way. I was never into pills. In fact, if I'd known that I was going to hear something that was going to be promoted in a pill, I would not have gone, to be fair. Yes, I did get a box of Juice Plus, and at the time I had a chest infection because I did a lot of cycling. People know me from running, but I actually started off cycling. I used to go with the cycling club, and in those days the gear wasn't as good, and a lot of us were prone to the old chest infection, and I happened to have one, and it was in my chest. I was coughing up this stuff, and so I looked up, the Juice Plus came in and said I'm going to take it, and my wife said, look, this snake oil, forget about it. Go to your doctor. Go to Gillian, my doctor. And I said, no, but this could. She said, listen, just do. You're going to drag this out. It's going to go on for ages. But I didn't listen. Being stubborn, I went and I took it. And I didn't find any difference for about a week. But after about a week, the phlegm got lighter and lighter. And after 2 weeks or so, 2.5 weeks maybe, my infection had gone. Now, my wife didn't believe any of this, by the way. She reckoned it was like the placebo effect. It was going to happen anyway. But I was intrigued. I thought, oh, my God, is this real? As I said, I've been taking it. So what difference do I find? That was very profound. That was something that I saw almost straight away. But since then, no different. I'm like anybody else, except if I got a little sniffle, which I don't, but if I did, my next door neighbor with the same issue would be in bed with an antibiotic for 3 or 4 days. So I'm not sick. As you know, I travel the world doing these talks. I had 97 flights last year. That's 2 flights a week around the world. And I've never got a cold, a cough, a sore throat. And that's not just good luck or good genes. There has to be some science behind why I'm healthy, why I'm that healthy. So how do I feel, James? Good. Well, energized every single day, regardless of my sleep patterns, which I do very well. But if I only 2 or 3 hours, I have that energy. Yeah.
So tell us, Dave, a little bit about the desert marathons, because a lot of us have seen your amazing talk about the marathons. And I mean, for those that don't know, perhaps you could tell us what you've done in terms of the desert marathons. That would be fascinating. But also how you integrated Juice Plus on those marathons and what difference that made for you, because it seemed like you were able to keep going when a lot of other people much younger than you were really, really struggling.
Sure. Yeah, that's very, very true. First of all, the marathons, there were 4 of them, James, in 2010. And I saw it on the internet, and I had already run the Sahara Desert twice, many years before, 10 years before, in fact. And I saw this on the internet that there was not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 races, 250 kilometers each, over a 6-day period each one, and you carry everything on your back. It's self-sufficiency. And when I read there were 4 of them, I got really excited. I mean, I thought, oh my God, this is insane. And when I read there was only 2 people in the world that had ever done that, and that was only the year before, I thought, well, come on. What did I do, James? I grasped it with both hands, jumped in with both feet, and just said, I'm going to do this. And I was very, I'll tell you why. It's a great question you asked me. Why? I wasn't being arrogant. I wasn't being cocky. I wasn't saying I'm invincible. In fact, to be fair, I probably didn't put too much thought into the whole thing, because if I did, if I really thought about the journey I was about to go on, that what I was going to put my body through, I don't know if anybody would do it. And so, but I had two things on my side, you see. One was my mental ability. I'm not making a big thing about it, but I grew up looking after my mum, going out there and making things happen for somebody I loved. And that's made me very focused, a very passionate, a very driven guy, I guess. It's happened from my youth. And I guess that's where we're all shaped. So I'm very driven. And so from a mental point of view, I felt that mentally I was going to do this. I'd made up my mind, James, when I saw this on the internet, one, I was going to do it. And two, if I had to finish on my hands and knees screaming, then I was going to do that. The only way I wasn't going to finish was they were going to take me out in a box. And so this was kind of the story. Now, what's happening here? Am I still with you?
Yes, go on. Are you showing us something, are you?
No, I'm not. But there's something coming in here, and I don't know how this is.
Okay, well, just keep going, and that's
it's gone.
You're back.
Okay,
good.
Sure. So anyway, yeah. So this mental ability, but two, James, and this is the big one, is it's not about fitness for me. It never was. It was about health, recovery, and repair at the cellular level. There's a big difference between fitness and health, and this is very confusing to a lot of people. People see people, you know, a guy in the gym or a young woman in the gym, and they're ripped and they look good, and they say, "Wow, they're fit and healthy." Don't get them confused. You may be fit, but fit people can and do die. I'm talking about health. It's a totally different thing. So, in answer to your question, the reason when I saw this, I felt that I had what it took to do it was, one, the mental ability, and two, I'd been taking Juice Plus in my veins at that time for 17 years. And I knew that the cellular repair was exceptional, that my body healed at a huge rate. So I knew with those two things going on, that the third element, which was fitness, was the poor relation of the three. I wasn't that pushed about that. So, yeah, that was it. And that's how important Juice Plus was, that it gave me that, you know, it fed my body to help my body to do what it was always designed to do, and that's to heal itself. So does that answer? Yeah,
no, absolutely. It's absolutely fantastic. So when you were running, I mean, a lot of people will be wondering, well, you know, what were you obviously, were you taking the capsules every day on the marathon? Were you taking the complete as well, or what was happening? How was your day with Juice Plus when you were running?
Okay. Well, the first thing, I got to run the Atacama Desert in Chile at 11,500 feet above sea level. So it's 250 kilometers of that. And what I did was I took 3 times the amount of Juice Plus. And for those of you listening, by the way, the standard is 2 fruit, 2 veg, and 2 berries every day. Now, you can take 120 every day, and nothing will happen to you. It's only food. You may go to the loo a little bit quicker, but that's about it. So I would take 6 fruit, 6 veg, and 6 berries, spread it out during the day. Every single day I was on the run. So not twice, but 3 times a day I would take my Juice Plus, the capsules. That's my micronutrients. And then on the run, I should explain that over that week, what happens is you run a marathon, day 1. Day 2, you get up and run another marathon. Day 3, you get up and run another marathon. Day 4, you get up and run another marathon. Day 5, you get up, and these are full marathons, by the way, 26.2 miles. Day 5, you get up and run 2.5 marathons. It's about 110 kilometers. That's the long day. And day 6, you just a small run into home, a 10K into home. So on these days, as I said, 3 times my Juice Plus, that'd be 6 of each. And then I would take a complete in the morning. I'd only water in a bottle, as you can imagine. We didn't have anything in the desert, so I just rolled up a piece of paper, put about a scoop into the bottle. It'd be a 500 to 1,000 milliliter bottle. Shake it up with water and take it before I left, an hour before I left the race, and had another one and drank it all the way during the race. And then when I came in at night, I would take 1 more. Depending on the length of the day, I would have a minimum of 2, a maximum of 3. That's a scoop, by the way, guys who are listening. So that's 6 fruit, 6 veg, and 6 berries, and 3 scoops to complete. That would have been my average every single day.
Wow.
Now, if you take it, James, that was the Atacama Desert. So that's 6 days. I have 2 days before flying out, 3 days before I get back. I have about somewhere in the region of 11 weeks before I recover. And then after the Atacama Desert, Chile, I go to the Gobi Desert in China. And I do it all again. That's 400 feet below sea level. And then 12 weeks later, I go to Sahara Desert in Egypt. I do the same again. Another 250 kilometers, carrying everything on my back. And then 5 weeks later, I go to Antarctica, which is like from plus 40 of the Sahara to minus 30. It'll freeze your lungs. And as I was doing them, by the way, James, I guess I began to understand why only 2 men in the world had actually done it. So yeah, so that's what I was taking, my Juice Plus. And here's the deal, right? There's a picture taken. I know you've seen it, James. I put it up around the world while I'm speaking. And there's a picture of a young man who is hanging off my neck. He's from the UK, from the British Army, and he was 27 then. And this young man was running 100-mile runs and training with a backpack. I wouldn't know what a 100-mile run was in training if it bit me in the ass. I never trained that much. I never, ever trained with a backpack. And this young man, a guy had died in America, a young American had died the day before. And I said, well, that's it. You know, it's not going to happen on my watch again. They were the age of my children, for God's sake. So I found this young man the following day. It was on the long run, 110 kilometers. I had him for a couple of hours. I'm not being dramatic. If I didn't get him out of those sand dunes, he wasn't going to make it at all. And as we came into the finish, somebody grabbed a camera and took a picture. And I've used this all over the world. He's hanging off me. He's 27. He's half my age. He's fitter than I will ever be. I haven't slept for 27 hours. I look like I look now, James. I look, you know, I look okay. I look tanned. I look healthy. And when I put that picture up, I get a pointer and a laser beam and I circle my face. And I say, that's health. And then I circle young Hugh's head. And I say, that's fitness. And that, my friends, is the difference between fitness and health. And Juice Plus is health.
So that was probably a very good example of where Juice Plus really pulled you through, where someone else who was with you, right by you, was really, really struggling. And if you hadn't been there, perhaps he wouldn't have made it.
Well, if nobody else had to come around, he wouldn't have made it. No, I can tell you that now. And, you know, if you think about this, guys who are listening in, I really get animated and passionate about this. I have been running this year 31 years, over 600 races. And in a 31-year period, over all those races, over 600, I have never, ever missed a race. I've never been sick or injured, by the way, ever. Or I've never missed a race due to sickness or injury in 31 years. And that is not just good luck or good genes. That's good health. And so, you know, when you're asking me about Juice Plus, James, this is not a sales pitch, guys. You know, this is telling you my story. That's all I can give you. I'm not an expert in anything. I'm not a doctor or a scientist or a nutritionist. As you know, James, I left school at 15 to a round of applause. They were delighted to see the back of me. But all I can do is like you, James, have it. All you people listening tonight, it's wonderful to have you on board. You all have incredible stories inside you, wonderful stories that, you know, shape other people's lives when you tell them. So that's all I'm doing, giving you my story tonight. And I can tell you now categorically that without Juice Plus, I'm telling you now, there is no way on this earth that I, at 57, which I was, I'm 62 now, that I would have finished that race. I was in my veins for 17 years prior to it, so I had a good head start.
Fantastic. So, Dave, you know, people listening, obviously, you know, perhaps from a sporting background, you have people going to the gym or whatever, they might be a little bit skeptical and they might say, well, you know, it all sounds very good. But how would you describe Juice Plus to someone who is training regularly, is in the gym, is competing? How would you describe it? What context would you put it in for them to say, okay, I get it?
Right. Okay. A wonderful question, James. Well, very well put. Okay. Can I explain it very briefly like this? You know, you often heard me say this when I talk about exercise, when I talk about competition, when I talk about training, I talk about, is all this good for you? And of course, the audience come back and says, yes, exercise is good for you, which it is. It's wonderful for the heart, the lungs, the liver, the cardiovascular. We know that. But you see, guys, the very act of exercise, you burning your food for fuel. And that burning process creates, again, here we go, free radical damage, the bad guys. So is exercise good for you? Yes and no. So here's where I see it all. When I'm talking to somebody that's training in a gym, personal trainers, somebody just training, somebody heavily involved in sport, I say to them, when you're in the zone, when you're doing this in the gym or on the road or on a football pitch or wherever, when you're creating this free radical damage through exercise, through burning all this food for fuel, what are you doing to repair that damage? Are you putting in a sports drink, a bag of sugar? Are you taking these bars? This is not the answer. You need to repair the damage that you've done, because I'll tell you something, free radical damage, lipids in the blood, lipid peroxide, you can't see it, you can't taste it, you can't smell it, but by God, I can tell you, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, you will know all about it. Unfortunately, with the likes of the onset of degenerative disease in many guises. So don't be fooled, guys. So what I would say is, when you're exercising, flood your body with antioxidants. If you can go outside, the minute you come off the pitch or the minute you come outside the gym, run out into a field, grab a piece of broccoli, rub the dirt off it, and chew it raw. But who's going to do that, James? Because that's the best medicine in the world. That is the best fuel to repair your muscle. That is the best fuel to repair the free radical damage that has just occurred when you're training. So I would say, repair that damage due to exercise. You've got to repair it the correct way, not with a fix.
Now, some people might say, obviously we've seen all this stuff about, Rafael Nadal today, about doping allegations and all that sort of stuff, and it's rife in the press at the moment.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about the anti-doping certification that we've got on Juice Plus? Because obviously that's been a very important thing.
Yeah, it's past all the official. The word anti-doping, we had to make sure that was. It's only broccoli, kale, and spinach, and we needed that certification, James, and we got that certification. I don't know if any of your listeners are aware of this, but during the last Olympics, and we don't endorse. I think this is one of the big ones with Juice Plus. Any Olympian or any famous sports person in golf or in soccer or in martial arts or whatever, horse racing. And there are many of them that take Juice Plus, many of them. And in fact, I have one or two personal friends who are Olympians, and they're on Juice Plus. And I can tell you, they couldn't be if they didn't have the certificates. So that they've been on it. And during the Olympics, the entire German Olympic team, Austrian and Swiss Olympic teams were taking Juice Plus. And that is because, obviously, it had to be certifiable. And it had to pass all the tests for anti-doping, and it did. So we have the certificates here. If anybody wants them, they're more than welcome. And all of these athletes, James, I have Dorian von Russenberg. If you Google this guy, he's the Olympic gold medalist windsurfer, and he's one of my customers, by the way. And he's the world champion for the last 3 or 4 years, and he pays exactly what I pay for my Juice Plus. So whether you're an Olympic athlete or you're the president of a country, or everybody pays the same price worldwide for Juice Plus. We don't do endorsements. We don't hold it up and say, take this, it's great. We do not do that. So that'll tell you something about the efficacy of Juice Plus, about the pureness of it, about it's beyond repute. So yeah.
Fantastic, Dave. No, that's absolutely great. So we're just up at 9 o'clock now. So what we're going to do, if you would stay with us, Dave, briefly, is that there are some very interesting questions that have come in online.
Okay.
So I'm just going to run through some of them, and people just keep them coming. There's some extremely interesting questions coming. Tanya asks, Dave, I have a friend just about to run a desert race this year. I would love you to give him advice. What would you say to someone who's just about to run a desert marathon?
Oh, well, this goes without saying, James, and this is not a Juice Plus hallelujah or a sales pitch. Why would I not recommend something? Because you need help. We all need help. You need that extra. You need to stack the cards in your favor. There's loads of advice I would give, Tanya, in terms of foot care, caring for your feet. There's a whole series on that I would talk about. I would talk about getting your water rationing correct. Water rationing is really important. I know that sounds like an obvious thing, that you're going to drink plenty of water in the desert, yeah, but you would be surprised the amount of people and runners that get that wrong. Now, it mightn't take you out of the race, but it could give you a lot of trouble. But for me, I would suggest, if I was to give you one piece of advice, Tanya, to this person that's running the desert, would you please tell them to fuel their body to repair? Most people fuel their body, or want to fuel their body, to perform. It's the wrong way around. I fuel my body to repair, because in the desert, you're getting a lot of antioxidants, a lot of free radical damage, and you need to repair that through the heat, through the exercise. You're burning all that food for fuel. You've got to repair it with Mother Nature, with raw food. So have lots of raw, like nuts, Brazil nuts, hazelnuts, macadamia. Macadamia nuts are brilliant. Have a big bag of those for the week and take them with you, and keep just snacking on that stuff. Plenty of water. Make sure the urine is clear. Make sure you've got zinc on the lips, like the windsurfers use. Look after your feet all the time. Clean them and look after any little blisters. Bleed them straight away. And get Juice Plus Complete. You'll see pictures of me on sand dune 16 stories high. And I have 2 bottles in my hand. One is water and one is Juice Plus Complete. Please do your friend a favor and tell him about this. You'll never look back. So important.
Fantastic. Thanks, Dave. So another question again about the marathons. This is from Ben in London.
Hi, Ben.
Yeah. So, Dave, you said you were strong mentally from early childhood, but did you experience any weird or scary visions during your desert marathons? And how did that compare to other participants?
Oh, wonderful question. Ben, at one stage in the Sahara Desert, the only time in the 4 deserts in that 1 year that I was nearly taken out. I had no problem at all, by the way, in any of them. I came back. In fact, the day I came back, it was a Sunday, and I was back in work. I was asked this question the other day, and I was sitting at my desk 9 o'clock the following day, which some people found astonishing. But anyway, in the Sahara Desert, what happened was I got bad water, and then it nearly took me out. I had diarrhea for 4 days in the desert. It ran through me. I couldn't even take my Juice Plus Complete. And eventually, my eyes got very dilated. They went black. I started to lose my vision. My muscles started to seize up. My body was, even though my mind was very strong, my body was saying, sorry, Dave, I'm taking you out of here before you die. And it was shutting me down. And only for a runner that came around, a young guy, and got me and hung on to me and got me to a checkpoint. I was very close to it, actually. I was just coming up to one. And the doctors came around and they looked at me and they said, oh my God, okay, he's going to have to rest here for a little bit. But nothing. They gave me nothing but Imodium to stop the diarrhea. That was the only thing I took. And I was lying on the ground. They showed it in the film. They've made a film about this. It's on Netflix. And I'm shaking. And I asked somebody for my jacket out of the car, which I guess is, you can imagine I wasn't particularly with it for a very short period of time. But wait for this, guys. Within an hour, my heart rate went down. My pulse was okay. I didn't need medication. I got to take my Juice Plus Complete at the lips. I just sipped it little by little by little. An hour and a half later, I'm up and I head out into the night sky with another 65 kilometers to go. It was a risk. Yeah. And I did feel scared, probably for the first time in my life, because I knew if I went out there and something happened, there was nobody to help me. But Juice Plus was there, and I had a huge belief in my recovery and repair. And boom, I got up and I carried on. I got stronger and stronger and stronger. With 2 days left, I kicked ass, if you'd pardon me saying so. So yeah, that was a weird moment, that particular time. So visions in terms of, did I see anything? Yeah, I was, as I said, I told somebody to get my jacket out of the car. So I was a little bit delirious. I think that's probably the question you're asking me. But it only happened on one occasion in the whole year. And it was very short-lived. And I recovered. And I had a fabulous race. I finished really strong, thankfully. Great question, by the way.
Great, Dave. Thanks very much. Another question from Audley, just about antioxidant blood tests. So some athletes will perhaps be wanting to take an antioxidant blood test. Where would you get something like that?
It's a good question. Would you believe it, James? I've never had one, but you have to get onto your GP, and they will give you the nearest center that will do that for you. So if you just go to your local general practitioner and tell them what you're looking for, now if they're a good practitioner, they'll know where to send you. Okay, absolutely know where to send you. So that's where I would go to your GP. And if your GP doesn't give you any joy, go to the easiest thing to do, by the way, is to Google it. I know that's the answer to everything these days, but because I don't know where you live, I don't know your locality, so that's what you're going to have to do. Your local GP first, and then just Google it in your area. Is that okay?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely great. So, Dave, tell us about what you're actually doing now, like day to day. I mean, of course, you're competing still, you're training. But you're also building your Juice Plus business. So can you just very quickly, as we close out, can you just tell us a little bit about that? So you've got quite a few customers, I would imagine. You've got a number of different athletes. You just mentioned you have this world champion on Juice Plus. So you are actively building your Juice Plus business.
Oh, absolutely, James. I remember when I saw what Juice Plus was, so enthralled with the whole idea of raw food encapsulated. And I loved it because it was never designed instead of a good diet, but with a good diet. And because Dave O'Brien, even though I'm very conscious of eating healthy, I can't always get the opportunity to do that. I mean, I'm in the air a lot. I guess I had a gap in my nutrition. It's only a tiny gap, but I had one. So I needed to bridge that gap between what I should eat and what I actually do. And so I felt, if I felt that way, and I have a good diet, how many other people? I mean, everybody, I guess that unless you live under a banana tree and wait for the bananas to fall in your lap, then all of us have a gap. And I said, yeah, I was recommending it. My wife is now 17 years taking it. My kids, my daughter, my sons, my mum is 88. Mum's on it now 7 or 8 years. And so many people were coming back in their skin and their energy levels. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is insane. More people need to know about this, and the only way I could do that, I couldn't do it on my own, was to build a team. And that's what I did. My son, my youngest boy, he's 25, David, he joined my team. And not only are we spreading the word more through him, through his younger friends and their moms and their dads, it's amazing how it works. But he's also, financially, he's building a life for himself and a freedom for himself, which pleases me no end, James. I'm so thrilled. I really am. It's a wonderful, wonderful business. And it has given me, look at the freedom it's given me. I mean, I pretty much do what I want, when I want, where I want. It's just wonderful. I'm just blessed to have come across this opportunity. And so that's what I do these days. I don't really work, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, for the same for all of us, I think, but none of us treat this as work. It's a joy. It's a mission that we're on.
Yes.
To talk to people about this wonderful product that we have. Dave, we're flooded with people saying how much they love you and how much they appreciate you being on tonight. People are saying, oh, when are you coming to us? We've got Joe from Adelaide, who's very grateful for you being on tonight, and Hannah from Germany. So, it's a tremendous thing, Dave, and we can't tell you how grateful we are for you coming on tonight. Just tell us a little bit before we finish. We're going to finish up with some events in a moment of our own, but can you just tell us, are there events coming up that you're going to be speaking at relatively soon, just in case people would like to see live?
There's going to be my next event is the 9th of the 9th of next month. Yeah. Which will be in Rotterdam.
Right.
And there is a contact. And do you know how to get this contact out to people? I have a flyer.
Well, it'll be on Facebook, so that's fine. Yeah. So
yes, that'll be easy. Exactly. That'll be the next one. Sure.
Other places, are you going to be?
Yes.
Scandinavia or?
There are the next one in Dublin in Ireland here will be on the 22nd of next month, where I will be doing a presentation on the Friday evening with James Knight, myself and James. That's on the 22nd of April.
That's at the Dublin conference, is it?
At the Dublin conference, indeed.
Yeah, well, that's going to be absolutely amazing. Yeah.
That'll be huge, sure.
Yeah.
And that's pretty, I've taken about a month away to try and get a bit of a break. As I said, I've been doing 2 flights a week. I do it because I love it. I adore it. I don't have to do it, but I just love what I do. So, but I've taken a break. So, you know, people are asking me all the time, when do you speak? I've just come from Killarney the night before last, the famous lakes of Killarney here in the west of Ireland. We had a big event on there for kayaking and running and mountain running. And we had an absolutely packed to capacity, wall to wall, on Saturday night. It was insane. And it was wonderful. So that's my last talk a couple of days ago. Fantastic. So that's pretty much it, James, you know.
Well, that's amazing. Well, look, we're finishing up now. We just got just 2 minutes now just to finish off. But I just want to say, Dave, I'm so grateful for you coming on, and it's always so inspiring. But the big takeaway that I got tonight was the whole concept of fuel to repair versus fuel to perform. And to
Excellent.
me, that is the big distinction. And that is the question that we've got to be asking all of our friends. You may be feeling to perform, but are you feeling to repair? So that is
wonderful.
So interesting. So let's just finish up. Sorry, Dave.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, it's a lot of people that are taking this other stuff. I say it's short-term gain. It does exactly what it says on the tin, by the way, guys. If you're taking some of this stuff, it does exactly what it says on the tin. Generally speaking, it's a sugar fix. The insulin spikes are all over the place. I can't afford to have my health like that. So it's short-term gain for sure, but long-term detriment to your body. You got it? So that's really the way I look at this. Short-term gain, but long-term detriment to your body. The difference between fitness and health. So
lovely. And
that's very well said. Fuel your body, guys, please, to repair, not just to perform.
I love that. I love that. Well, Dave, look, we're going to be finishing up now just very, very quickly. The first thing we want to say is tomorrow night, we're going to promoting some other events. Tomorrow night, we have a Zoom product and business presentation at 9 o'clock UK time. And that's with Jeff Montague-Smith, who's going to be buzzing himself in from the US. He's going to be doing the product, and I'm going to be presenting the business. Then this Thursday, we have a presentation at the Down to Earth Cafe in Kensington, which is always absolutely amazing. So we're doing that, and Paula Wilkinson will be hosting that, so I'll be at that. Then this Saturday, we have a crazy hat party.
And wow, I love it.
Welcome. Yeah, no, it's going to be great. Crazy hat party, and that's in Earls Court, and that's at the Bolton pub. Upstairs the Bolton pub, and the last it'd be amazing. So that's 7:30 on Saturday evening. Everybody's welcome, and then just talking about some big events coming up. April the 9th, we have our Vision Day, and to say that at our Vision Day, which is going to be in Swindon on April the 9th from 11 till 5, we've got some fantastic speakers. We've got Alex Hamer-Webb, who's going to be speaking. His daughter, Romy, is going to be speaking. James Knight is going to be speaking. Sue Worrell, Bridget James is going to be speaking as well. We also have someone from Dale Carnegie who's going to be speaking. So that is just,
wow.
You know, yeah, that really, really will be amazing. And then on Tuesday, April the 12th, we have our new event, which is going to be hosted and run by Peter Pure, and that's The Amazing Power of Plants. So
that's wonderful. Wow.
Amazing.
Yes. Come on, don't tell me anymore. I'm going to have to lie down, James. Come on.
Yeah. So I think, sorry, Alex also just said that they have an event tomorrow night. Alex Smallman, they've got an event tomorrow night in Brighton. That is it. Catherine just said, I've just run my second half marathon. Hubby doing his 20th London Marathon this year.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah. Steve Bishop says, Dave, you are fuel for the mind. So a lot of wonderful accolades and compliments coming. But Dave, we can't thank you enough for coming on tonight. Really inspiring. And we're going to put this on Facebook, and I'll send you the video, Dave. So
wonderful. Listen, it's you know, at the end of the day, James, thank you very much. It's all about bringing value to others, like you do, and everybody does on a day-to-day basis. And I'm just it's an honor and a pleasure to be able to partake in this. And thank you so much for asking me. And thank you to everybody who gave up their time tonight to tune in and listen to this call. So thank you, everybody. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you very, very much. Okay, everyone. Take care. Bye for now.
Take care.